Hi everybody, Mike Prisco here with Keller Williams. I want to welcome you to the first installment of a new video series I'm doing here on social media. I'll be posting a video once a week that is intended to provide insight into the national and your local real estate markets. If you have any topics that you'd like me to explore or subject matter that you would like to be featured, please leave a comment and I'll be happy to provide that content for you. I thought sharing this slide with you first would be ideal, considering home values are a major topic of the conversation for buyers, sellers, and homeowners in general. This chart shows the median home value over the last 35 years in the United States. It also shows a long-term trend line shown in light blue that is based off of 4% annual appreciation in home values. Now, this is a median value, not an average value. We use a median value so we could take into account the total amount of home sales in a given year without having a few outliers, whether they be too high or too low, skew the average sale price. So what does this chart really show us? First thing that jumps out at me is, wow, real estate has been a great investment over the last 35 years. Where the median home value in 1990 was $96,000, where you jump to present day in 2004 with a price increase of over 300% at $408,000, which also reinforces the fact that buying real estate is the greatest practical investment a person can make. This chart also shows the market has made some corrections over the last 35 years. Most significant and obvious is in the early 2000s, where irresponsible lending and a few other factors led to home values rising 21% over this conservative trend line. Yet in 2011, we see the market start to recover, with the appreciation, although below the trend line, in lockstep with that trend line. And in 2021, we hit and exceed that conservative trend line, which leads me to the question that's on everyone's mind. Are homes overvalued in this market? The answer is yes and no. If you take into consideration this long-term trend line, we're not too far off from a 4% annual appreciation in home values. I want to stress to you that the biggest factor affecting this market is the basic rule of supply and demand. We have a tremendously low supply that cannot keep up with demand. This is why we see in 2024 the median home value 9.9% over our trend line. Now keep in mind, this chart is derived from national statistics, and the impact of supply and demand in northern Jersey as a whole or in your very local market can be more drastic considering the uniqueness of New Jersey. If you're interested in your local market trends, shoot me a text or a DM and I'll be happy to provide you with that information. Okay, so what can I take away from this? For sellers, I would ask myself one question. Do I sell now when values are above the 35-year trend line and leverage the imbalance of supply and demand, or do I wait and possibly lose out on some market value? If I'm a buyer, I would ask myself these important questions. How long do I intend on living in the new home that I purchase? And will that time spent in the home outlast the market correction and still result in a net positive appreciation over time? Also, I would ask myself, if my alternative to buying is renting, am I really putting my money to good use? And finally, I would ask myself, if I sit on the sidelines and wait for prices to come down, which we don't know if and when that will happen, what would the conditions in a market like that look like, with many more buyers jumping into the pool at the same time? If you want to dive into these conversations more, please reach out. I would love to have a chat. Thank you for listening, and please be good to yourself, be good to each other, love yourself, and love one another. I'll see you next time.